It's time for Flashback. We begin with Monday, where the Federal Capital Territory and its environs was peaceful and calm when residents joined the Muslim faithful to celebrate Eid Fitri after Ramadan fast. And fun spots across the city were packed full as families and friends came out in their numbers to spend quality time with their loved ones.
A fun moment for families and friends as they wine and dine in celebration of the Eid Mubarak. The National Children's Park and Zoo in Abuja was packed full with adults and children who took advantage of the public holiday to unwind. The hike in the entrance fees for both adults and children did not stop the visitors from having a fun-filled day. There was music, sightseeing of wildlife, and a calming ambience to keep the visitors entertained.
I feel happy because I'm here to enjoy myself because it's Salah, it's celebration, so we are here to celebrate ourselves.
It's about time I spend time with my family and how we are together.
I feel happy and I love to play with my friends happily, and I have a new friend here. I feel very happy. Even though I'm not a Muslim, I feel very happy.
The grown-ups were not left out of having fun as they also seized the opportunity to reconnect with friends over some mouth-watering meals.
I'm excited because I haven't seen my friends in a while, so coming here together today, especially sitting down here, right here at Park and Zoo, is one of the best times I've had this year, right? So we're excited, we're here, we have a lot to eat and drink, so we're just happy, yeah?
I feel so relaxed and I feel happy for us to come out today being public holiday and also celebrating our Muslims brothers. So I feel so happy coming here with my group of friends. We are just here to have fun.
Business owners at the park will definitely go home with happy faces as it was brisk business for them.
And still on Monday, 24 persons were rescued and 9 others confirmed dead at the site of a building that collapsed at Ibadan Street, Ebute Metta, here in Lagos. And those rescued were 23 males and 1 female. 6 males and 4 females were confirmed dead at the scene.
This was once the building that collapsed at Ebute Metta, a Lagos suburb. The building, which is about 13 flats, was said to have been marked for demolition after it failed an integrity test carried out on the building. Owners of the said building revealed that the occupants were told to evacuate after the test and their rent monies returned to them.
We had a meeting with the occupants in respect of this, that please, this place is not suitable for you to live in again. Just leave this house. At the same vein, we held meeting from January, February, we held meeting with them. And on that note, a Lagos State agency, they came serving. And these people, we told them that this place is not safe for you again. You better relocate before it's too late. We gave them money for them to leave the place, but they refused.
Before our arrival, the first responders, which are the community members, they mobilized themselves to carry out rescue, and they did a lot in the rescue effort. So by the time we got there, we only incorporated them and we started working together.
This building has been sealed. Early warning has been issued out around this building that this is a distressed building. However, it is important to note that some people comply with this early warning, while some did not comply with the early warning.
Emergency responders have been on hand to rescue those trapped in the rubble. According to officials of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, 7 children and 17 adults were rescued. Another building just across the street was said to have been marked for demolition. The government had planned to demolish the building, but they were stopped by residents who disagreed with the decision.
This particular building was marked, was checked 3 years ago, and it went through integrity and it's passed.
We served the several notices. If they have that report, they need to bring it forward. And I'll have to tell you that material testing and testing of material. They still need to bring a structural engineer, engage a structural engineer to do a complete assessment of that property.
Well, on Tuesday, the UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres stressed the need to invest in education, health and safety. He said this during his visit to Maiduguri, where he met Governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulum. Antonio Guterres was on a 2-day mission to Nigeria, where he which was also his first official visit. He also visited the Gubio IDP camp, where he interacted with the internally displaced persons. And during his visit, Mr. Guterres also highlighted the need to ensure the IDPs are reintegrated. Later on that day, Mr. Guterres met with President Muhammadu Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and other top cabinet officials in Abuja.
I want to congratulate the governor for what I've seen today and to tell him that I want to appeal strongly to the international community to understand Borno as a state of hope, to support humanitarian action in Borno, must to recognize the enormous challenges that Borno faces with climate change, with still Boko Haram active, even if weakened, and to invest in the Borno of hope, to provide support to the projects of the government of Borno and of the civil society in Borno in order to create the conditions for real development, to create the conditions in which schools work, hospitals work, jobs exist, in which people can live in peace and people can live in solidarity. So I will be your advocate, Mr. Governor, your advocate within the international community, asking the international community to support and to invest in the Borno of hope.
Now, after 30 days in captivity, at least 21 kidnapped victims of Alguan-Bulus community in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State regained their freedom on Wednesday. Village head of the community said the families of the kidnapped victims had to sell houses and other properties to meet the demand of the abductors.
With tears in her eyes, this mother, who was abducted together with 4 of her children, took time to compose herself before narrating her harrowing ordeal in the hands of her abductors, who killed her son together with 5 other victims.
My children were 4, but they killed 1. I came back with 3. They took these boys. The other boy there is 19 years, my own is 17.
The story is not different for this man, who was also among 26 persons kidnapped in Alguan-Bulus community by terrorists 2 days after the train attack incident.
They picked 3 Christians and 3 Muslims and go out of the camp, and we stayed there. He came back, he called me, I answered. He said, I hope your mind does spoil. I said, okay, what can I go do?
They say the situation was even worse for men, as their blindfolds were only untied in the night by the terrorists who did not want to be recognized. The village head confirmed to us that relatives of these victims had to sell their houses and most of their properties to raise money for ransom.
What I know was that there's a family that paid 5 million and other 4 million, but all in all, what I know, it was almost that 20 million.
We paid about almost 5 million. I did not have 1 naira. All those things is borrowing.
This is coming few days after a move by federal lawmakers to criminalize the payment of ransom to terrorists. And this move by the lawmakers doesn't sit well with these people who still have their loved ones in bandits' custody.
It is good to make that law, but they should go further by providing what is the option they are working on. That when somebody is kidnapped, what are they going to do to rescue the person?
They are also saddened at the growing number of displaced communities. And shockingly, they revealed that a man who was about 102 years old was not spared by terrorists who attacked his village in Kauru local council.
Pa Garba Aku in Kitakum, he was shot and he tried to run. The heartless herdsmen hacked him down with their machetes.
The governor had on Saturday prayed for an end to the unprecedented wave of attack by terrorists in the state and across the country. He also intensified calls for the establishment of a military theater command in the state to beef up security.
On Thursday, the federal government apologized to NASU and SANU over the neglect of their requests for months. The apology was by the Federal Ministry of Education. At a conciliatory meeting, the Minister of Labour and Employment said a white paper on university needs assessment will be released on the 17th of May.
The non-academic unions and the universities declared a 2-week warning strike on the 27th of March. The industrial action was extended by 1 month as a result of the inability of the authorities to commence negotiations with the striking workers. Now, the industrial action has entered its 2nd month, and the Minister of Labour and Employment, as the nation's chief conciliator, is brokering a truce. He attributes the strike to the absence of communication between the parent ministry and the university staff.
Session panels have been done in all places. The White Paper Committee has finished. They have drawn their report, and by May 17th, the White Paper will be released.
The Federal Ministry of Education apologizes for the stalemate between it and the workers since the strike began, and promises to turn a new leaf.
Adamu, who had specifically asked me to come and plead for your forgiveness. That is as if your employer, Federal Ministry of Education, has abandoned you. Issues contrived to make it look that way. That is not the picture.
For the union leaders, beyond apology is the need to accede to all the demands of the unions in the interest of students, parents, and the nation's education sector.
The apology is not a problem to us. Our problem is that the ministry should do exactly what is expected of them.
Being denied by Ministry of Education openly, and I never knew that we have any labor issue or any industrial issue with them, and they are not our employer. So I'm happy that he's here to apologize today, and I hope this apology is not political.
Among the demands of the unions are implementation of the renegotiated 2009 agreement, payment of earned allowances, usurpation of non-academic career positions by vice-chancellors, inclusion of university staff school into the university community, non-payment of minimum wage arrears, and funding for state universities.
Also on the stage, where the government on Thursday wasn't happy over the rise in gender-based violence, growing cases of sexual harassment and assault in higher institutions of learning. To quickly put an end to that, the state government signed a memorandum of understanding with Gender Mobile Initiative in Akure.
Sexual harassment has eaten deep into Nigeria's university community. In a survey conducted by the World Bank Women Group, 70% of female graduates from Nigerian universities have been sexually harassed, and these numbers keep rising every year. The Ondo State government is determined to address these issues through a partnership with various organizations. Here, the state government, through the Office of the State Governor on Gender, entered into a partnership with the group Gender Mobile Initiative.
What this also means is that whatever is going
the Executive Director of Gender Mobile Initiative, Omoumi Ogorotimi, said campus safety policy has been adopted in universities across the country. Ogorotimi said the partnership will allow the state government to adopt its model to address sexual violence.
Sexual harassment is, on the rise, and it's really important that we rise to the occasion to address these issues. In the last 4 years, Gender Mobile has worked with institutions of higher learning essentially to address sexual harassment, adopting a tripartite approach of design, policy design, community-led bystander intervention, and also creative integration of technology.
Earlier, the special advisor to the state governor on gender, Olamide Falana, said the project was born out of the need to have active collaboration with civil society organizations.
Because we want the very best for our state, and I'm excited that this day has actually come
for us to commence activities in furtherance of our state response towards ending gender-based violence in Ondo State.
Other stakeholders stress the need for government to partner non-governmental organizations to eradicate gender-based violence.
The institution is just a microcosm of what is happening all over. And, you know, the films we watch, and unfortunately, even what we see on the social media. So it goes beyond targeting the institution. It's also important for us to ensure that mosques, churches,
we should create more awareness, telling people, telling the women, telling the men what they are supposed to do and what they are not supposed to do. It's not that they don't know it.
On Friday, we told you that with effect from Monday, air travelers in Nigeria may have to seek for alternative means of transportation if they have to travel from one point to the other. Except something is done urgently, the airline operators say they are suspending their operations from Monday, May the 9th, following a rise in the cost of Jet A1 fuel and other costs. Well, the airlines made this position in a letter addressed to the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, while copying the Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, Captain Musa Nuhu, signed by their owners and chief operating officers. Aviation fuel price has risen from 190 naira per litre to 700 naira per litre, and the airlines have revolted, stressing that no airline in the world can absorb the astronomical hike. And the airline said with the current fuel hike, it has increased its fuel cost component from 40% to 95% in Nigeria, and also affected the cost of a seat per head, which should be at least 120,000 naira, and appealed to passengers for understanding as the situation is currently biting. The statement said the airlines find the situation unsustainable and can no longer absorb the pressure. To Plateau State, where a midnight invasion by gunmen suspected to be a herder militiamen left 8 persons dead, with many others seriously injured in Chinke and Zarama villages in Bassa Council area of the state. Locals from Irigwe Chiefdom in Bassa Council are said to be the worst affected by gunmen attacks in recent times, despite efforts to put an end to the menace.
Residents of Zarama and Chinke community here in Irigwe Chiefdom of Bassa Council area have woken up to yet another sad event. Gunmen suspected to be herder militiamen attacked the community midnight of Thursday, killing 8 people with several others badly injured. This attack is coming barely a few days after an attack by suspected herder militiamen claimed the life of a military officer and some locals in a nearby community within the Irigwe Chiefdom. Some of the eyewitnesses who narrowly escaped the attackers narrated their ordeal to us. They claim to have sighted unusual movement of uniformed men suspected to be military personnel in the affected villages a few minutes before the invasion.
Yesterday night, as at 6 in the evening, I myself, we are on patrol with some of our guys around. We are patrolling around, all of a sudden we have gunshots. For us to cross-check and see it was Fulani headsmen with some men with military uniform.
You can see about 8 lives were lost yesterday night. 8 lives were lost. Out of the 8 lives, 3 children, 5 adults.
The paramount ruler of Irigwe Chiefdom has appealed to all his subjects to be vigilant and avoid activities that usually make them easy targets of the perpetrators.
Today we lost about 8 people, and tomorrow we don't know what will happen. And my people too, they should be alert all the time. They should be alert. They should know that we have enemies. When you know you have enemies, you have to be ready anytime. Be conscious when you are living so that you will not be taken unaware all the time.